So recently I went to the cinema with a few friends and watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and it was so good. It was really, really good. When I first heard that they were making another Puss in Boots movie, I was honestly indifferent about it. I liked the first movie, but I wasn't too sure it was good enough that it deserved a sequel. This movie subverted my expectations. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is probably the best DreamWorks sequel I've ever seen. It was funny, it was dramatic, it was creepy, and it was actually quite scary when it needed to be. And honestly, all I can say is that it is a must-watch. I highly recommend you go to the cinema and you watch this film. Now, what I really loved about the film was the fact that it seemed not to be afraid of pushing the boundaries when it comes to what was appropriate for children. I laughed so much when the dog Berito started throwing F-bombs, and they were censored so kids wouldn't know what the dog was saying, but I found it so funny that they went that far, and the fact that they were censored made it all the more hilarious. Another really good part of the film is that it tackled death. It tackled a really heavy theme, and that was mortality and death. And I honestly really loved that about this film. Now, a few spoilers for those who haven't seen it. If you haven't seen this film, I highly recommend you go and see it before going any further with this video. But I really loved the wolf character. He really had an intimidating, creepy presence about him, and his iconic whistle would always send chills down my spine. I remember after seeing the film, I had that whistle stuck in my head, and even I started whistling it myself a few times. And I really love what the character, the wolf, represents, and I'm gonna be saying some spoilers here, so be warned. It turns out that the wolf is death. And I don't mean that metaphorically, poetically, rhetorically, or any fancy way you'd say it. I mean he is death straight up. And I loved that about this character. At first you think he's a bounty hunter, but then when he's revealed to be the Grim Reaper, everything just makes so much sense. And I remember the first encounter Puss had with death, and when they first fought, my jaw dropped at the bit when Puss started bleeding from the head a little bit. When I saw that little drop of blood trickle down Puss's forehead, I was like, holy shit, is that blood? There's blood in this? And my jaw literally dropped in that scene, and it really showed that this death character is not to be fucked with. And Puss knew that too, and I love how they explore that even though Puss claims to be not afraid of death, he claims to laugh in the face of death, he is very much afraid when he comes to terms with his own mortality in the form of death himself. This character, man, the wolf, or death, is probably the best DreamWorks villain that DreamWorks has never come up with, next to maybe Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2. This movie was a banger. The plot was great, the animation was gorgeous, and the story and the characters, they were all so good. Jack Horner was a great villain. Goldilocks was a great kind of villain, although she technically isn't. Well, she is a villain, but she didn't really. She's not really a full villain in my opinion. I think because she just wanted that wish for a new family, and yes, she did want Puss in Boots dead. But what's interesting is that she has a complex personality about her that she just wants a proper family, and she comes to learn that the bears that she hangs around with are her family. And I love the contrast as well with Jack Horner being the psychotic, cruel, spoiled brat who just wants power and greed. And in my opinion, Jack Horner is a very good representation of modern businessmen and how they could come from a spoiled home. Now don't quote me on that, okay? I'm not trying to make this video political, alright? So please don't go raging in the comments saying that I'm politically incorrect, because honestly, I'm not a political person. But back to the film. Honestly, I think this film is just as good, if not better, than Shrek 2. This film, in my opinion, is the Spider-Man 2 of the Puss in Boots franchise and the DreamWorks films. And honestly, this is just, I'd say it's better than Shrek 2 in my opinion. And honestly, if you have not seen this film, go and watch it. It's a must watch. The characters and story are great. And if I sat here and praised the wolf character, we'd be here forever. Because honestly, I think the wolf, or death, is the best part of this film. But that's all I have to say on the matter. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. Tell me your opinions once you're respectful. And I will see you in the next video. I'm Harry Flew TV, and remember, you don't have to.